Greetings, my fine fellow overly muscled, genetically engineered super warriors encased in glorious steel armor. It is I, a goat, and today I'm talking to you about Battletech, Emerald Sword by Tom Levine. But yeah, so this just came out a couple days ago. I had read it last night, and I really liked it. So I'm making a video on it. And it's a fairly simple tale. It is like fairly like I said, straight out and out, simple idea. Elemental guy about to get to his trial possession. He's the runt of the litter of his Sibco, and he has internalized doubt about himself, and everyone else around him also doubts his ability to not just survive and fail, but he's going to die. That is everyone, even the people who he cares most about, uh, want to, and his instructor, his falconer, is saying, "Hey, drop out, or you're going to die. You can serve the clan a different way." And he's like, "No, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to give up. If I'm going to die, I want to die at least trying." And so that's kind of like his mindset. But he's a guy who clearly has what it means to move forward, but he doesn't have the confidence. And that's the big idea that you pick up early on in the little story. And then when he and his Sibco go out and they just being little hellions, the kind of cocky, confident leader of the squad, basically, that the main character thinks, oh, just that guy. That guy is so much better. He's got confidence. He knows what he's doing. Even if he didn't, just the fact that how he acts and how he is means he's going to go and he's going to survive more than me. He's going to do better for the clan. That's like the level of unconfidence he had. But then that guy beats up an old man, almost kills him. The old man kind of was planning on that. It's like, yes, now this little snot-nosed brat will get what's coming to him because he was a castless guy. And our main character, Douglas being our guy, who is kind of human, uh, takes up the guy, takes him back to his house to make sure that his friend does not get kicked out. And then it turns out this old man ain't no regular old man. He was a washout warrior, but for not the normal reasons. As it turns out, he was kicked out after basically taking the blame for Jessica Talbot. I believe that was her name. A Jade Falcon codex, essentially, a woman who had uh, legend in their clan. I'm forgetting her name, and he took that so to make sure that she would carry forward. And pretty much the old man is like, "Hey kid, I see you're dead in your own eyes. You did me a kindness. Let me do one for you if you feel like it. And I'll show you what it means to fight. And maybe I can give you a fighting chance." And that's kind of how the story goes. And then he goes, does the trial, and he survives and has a experience that I think is really good in how they showcase his development as a character. He gets to the trial, he goes in, and he gets it. He gets to become a warrior, but not really in the way he wanted, which I think is the fun bit. So that's kind of like the basic summary of the whole plot. And I'm going to talk about little bits and bobs about things as I go. But this was a really good little story because, uh, going off a couple things, it's like you have the element of young person about to go from being a child to an adult and kind of addressing certain little things about that. Because Sibco is in at least in this story in terms of how it's contextually got at. It kind of reminds me of he's about to graduate high school. He has his woman who he has affection with and has these complicated feelings towards, but everyone else regards him as, oh yeah, I'll try to remember you, or just regarding him as already being gone from their lives. And he's just desperate to not impress them, but just to go and do something and get out. And the way his internal dialogue is written is really it's not really like amazing. It just shows a growth of his character. Like as Douglas grows as a person and like is trained by his mentor character, he essentially like unlearns some of his own like internal like foibles, as well as kind of realizes, oh, the person who he thought was like really good was not, and it was just their own mask and bravado. Whereas Douglas is like trying so hard to just be better. It starts to reveal that like, oh hey, not everything was as he initially seemed. Like his own self perceptions were kind of dragging him down and making him think different of other people. Along with that, there was a really interesting like kind of through line that I liked about when it came to his like attraction to like Worthy, one of his Sibco, I don't know, mate partner. I forget how they would you're supposed to describe like a Sibco because they're not siblings, but they're like grouped together. I don't know. Where like he is this big elemental guy. He's this huge, like masculine dude, and he has to internalize like, do I love her? Do I love Worthy, the woman who he has like affection with, and she does as well because they couple a lot and they enjoy each other. And he's internalizing all these things. Like he's trying to figure out like, is this love? If so, that's terrible because that's not what we're supposed to do. That's dishonorable or whatnot, and all these like emotions that he's trying to figure out but can't speak. And like to me, that spoke a lot to me as a person, just because experience and growing up, like just you're trying to parse some of these emotions and figuring out like what is right and whatnot. So as like a queer person, that was like, oh, that's cool. That's a neat little thing that like I felt from that I think was a fun, I think intentional kind of element because again I Simcoe school graduation into adulthood. I think that's a theme going on here and like becoming like an adult or like becoming the person you want to be as you grow, as well as like the failures of those you see around you. And it's really good in like doing that and like the way it's written and how like, Douglas's like internal monologues and perceptions of people like just slowly change over the course of the novella really makes things like more interesting. Like it's a simple like thing where it's like Douglas just like starts thinking differently or like it's like, wait, what, why are you doing, like he just thinks about stuff, and then because we're viewing it from his perspective, like we as the viewer like slowly realize, oh, that's the things. And so it makes like a fun reading experience because it like both Douglas's growth is paralleled by like our growth and view of like, oh, this is the actual reality of what these characters are. Douglas was just fooling himself into thinking these things. Uh, um, and like it presents a very interesting like way of I keep saying interesting, it's just a good way of like presenting a character's growth in a like short amount of time because the novella is like about 100 and some pages. And then like also his relationship with the mentor character and how like he kind of teaches Douglas. Mentor's character's name is like Cool, like Kule, like Cool, Cruel, something like that, where it's like this man who took on a dishonor and then was sent to like a penal spaceship in the clan homeworlds for years and then came back and just now just this wreck but still like fearsome man who learned to survive in prison and then imparting like um, kind of the knowledge about the world that his instructors aren't willing to teach him because it's against tradition. So essentially, he's like learning what I guess you would learn later on, yeah, when you're on deployment in a galaxy, like the realities of war and adapting, versus like the young, newly bred and released warrior who just passed their trial and like is still full of all that like traditional like training that they bury in, and none of the like adaptability that comes from like fighting and learning on the battlefield. As I said, that's like a thing I believe is in clan cultures. Like you have your elders who slowly teach you like reality, and then you have the youngins who don't address with that and then die, or they're just adapt over time, whatever. And so that kind of was a fun way, and Cruel's like indignations of like I did what I did to further the clan and to let someone who was great be able to be great. And so like there's some parallels with him trying to do that with Douglas, trying to help him to further like help his people, as well as kind of give him his life a bit more meaning, as well as pass on at least something, because that's always a thing with the clans is they always want to pass on in some way. In most cases, it's through like their genetic code in like making more people or like their ideals. And so like what ends up happening towards the end, where Cool's teaching him, he's an old man, he's gonna eventually like get sick and then like pass. Douglas like takes on the name that he had for his original Sitco, which was Emerald Sword, which is from the name, and that's like this kind act that Douglas did for him and like brings him forward as a thing. Uh, might have gotten a little ahead of myself, but that's the fun thing because like the latter half of the story is very interesting because it a lot of what you get in the first section is not kind of how we've seen a lot of the other Jade Falcon sitcoms in the novels, where the children are just very can be very cruel sometimes, like in that the young people like are cruel as well as like the clans just super like brutal like living style for like trying to become a warrior, breeding in that kind of cruelty and like unwillingness to be kind. And Douglas has a lot of those like more kind elements. Like he just tries not to antagonize people. He doesn't really want to immediately break down people. He's just like, man, it sucks that these people are like driven out for some weird reason. Like, why would you want to do that? You could have food. Like, he doesn't understand it, but he also doesn't like resent people immensely like his peers do. And then when you get to like him finally being trained, and you get to the trial, and you see Douglas like go and be as brutal as like an elemental needs, it kind of makes that interesting contrast between the kind person he was and like the brutal warrior. Because he's like in his trial, you have to get to a transponder after an area that's been filled with like they just have volunteers. Uh, then get to his armor and then do like the traditional like fight three people. Don't shoot the other ones or else you get to a melee. So he does that, fights some dudes, gets some machetes, and just this hacking away at them, like just no hesitation, just going into it. And that's where you get the fun bit is the guy who Douglas looked up to and thought was great, just breaking. Whereas Douglas is cool. This guy he's vomiting, he's scared, he's jittering. He's like, Douglas, please save me. We have to work together. And when you get to the traditional like fight three people, he just shoots out and hits one of Douglas's targets and starts a free for all. And Douglas, um, in probably like both a combination of just rage, disbelief, and kind of taking like things people have said to him, where it's like no one wants a person who they can't rely on in a battlefield making a stupid decision. Where that everyone thought that was going to be Douglas, and Douglas like trying desperately to not be that has become that, but then the person who he thought was going to be the good guy was going to like be this amazing star colonel captain like out of the trial just did the stupidest thing ever, and he just puts his like laser straight to his face and blows his face open, and then tries to fight his way through the trial and just slowly gets burned out. Like he's trying, he's fighting, and then just the suit is wrecked. Like in a matter of page, in a couple of pages, he's down. He's like resigned that I failed and I didn't even die. This is fucking terrible. And then, because it was a melee, because the other guy fucked up, Douglas becomes a warrior because he killed him, and that counts. And so, like, I think there's something bitter, like the way it feels. It's very a melancholic sort of ending. Like Douglas got to be a warrior, but he had to kill a person who, even when he saw how pathetic he was being, he was like, "We're going to go and get it together. Me and you, we're going to be warriors, no matter what. Even if you're breaking under the pressure, we're going to be warriors. Just keep trying." And then you get that shooting in the face moment, and it's sad. It's very much a disbelief of like, holy shit, he's that fucking stupid to go and do that, to like ruin this for Douglas, where he could have like maybe got a chance at going further up in rank than just being a normal flat warrior, or whatnot. And then he goes to just give his mentor the thing he wanted. He wanted a warrior's honor before he died. He finds him dead, and he tries to like honor him in another way by like making his Sibco change their like Sibco name to the Emerald Sword instead of the Royal Red Raiders, which was just a thing that, because the other guy had like a cult of personality with everyone because he was confident, just decided upon, even though it's a nothing name. And then this is like Douglas being like, no, we're this. We're carrying on my mentor's legacy, not that fucking idiot who like just broke and would have gotten more people killed and failed like his people. And they're like, there's something really nice about that, but also like melancholic. And then it just ends with Douglas going off to his deployment, all of them leaving, and just Douglas has done that and secured someone who actually did more for the clan uh, than like his friend. And like I really liked that ending. Like it's nothing crazy. It's nothing like that blows you out of the water in terms of like how anything is presented or how the story goes, but the little like way things are written and the way we co and view characters, it made things like really like you felt for Douglas because he had that right combination of like elements that make you like a person. He's likable. He's trying his best, but he's the runt of the litter. He's being told by everyone he's dead. He's the underdog, and he still has those kind elements, that empathy that makes you be like, oh, okay. He's not just going to be like your traditional young clanner that's kind of a monster. He's a person that's has honor and kind of more humanity inside of him, and you feel for him, and then you see like the humanity slip, and you see more of the clanner. You see that like that brutality, that warrior culture that he represents as a person, like rear its head up and just brutalize some people, and it's great. It's that good like contrasting elements that just makes you like realize, oh yeah, he's not like some dude from the inner sphere. He's like a genetically engineered 8 foot tall behemoth of meat that's just brutalizing people on his way to like become like this warrior, like this brutal like machination of war. And it was a good novella. I have no idea like if this was in relation to anything. I know the cover was done by oh my god, why am I forgetting their name? I will put it on the screen. They're the person who does all the really cool Battletech artwork. But I don't know if this has any relation on like being a Kickstarter thing or just was a novella that they had being worked on. I had never read anything by Tom Levine, I think. But apparently he worked on, or they worked on Spawn. I forgot to Google the author before I made this video because I'm doing this right after I got out of work. But so I don't know anything about them personally. But yeah, in the back of the book they said they worked on Spawn, and okay, you know, I'll just look it up. I literally have my phone right next to me. Why not? That's the power of having your phone. So I read this on an ebook as I traditionally do because that makes things a little easier, and also it's cheaper. He won a Bram Stoker's finalist award, which I don't know what that is. An offer of 9 novels, originally with imprints of Penguin Random House and Simon and Schuster. So that's all the blurb I got for them. But yeah, they seem like a really good writer. I'll have to look up some of their stuff and see if there's anything I'd be interested in reading. Um, but yeah, like it's just something I was like, oh hey, new Battletech fiction, because I like my books if it wasn't clear, and I always like that's the one weird thing is like I saw it pop up on my email from Drive Through RPG. I then make a post, hey, new book's out. Let's talk about the new book. And then I think like I'm one of the only people that posts about when a new novel comes out sometimes. I don't mean that in like a tooting my own horn. I'm just like, what? Has anyone posted about this? I should post about this so people know. I must spread the word because I want to know what people think about the fiction. That in the cover was cool because said artist person because I'm forgetting the name still. Um, Very freaking cool artwork. I know they said it was early on from their piece because I saw them talk about it on Twitter. But dang, does it still look freaking good? I would kill to have this level of earliness. Then again, I just need to have more time to draw and create glorious artwork myself. But yeah, yeah, highly recommend this little short novella. It's 2.99 on Drive Through RPG, which there will be a link down below. But yeah, I I don't know if I'm reading into too many bits and just having that, reading and then you're reading about yourself kind of thing. But yeah, good little novella that like I really enjoyed. I hope we get another novella soon or a new novel because I'm curious to see what's next on the docket. I know I need to catch up on Shrapnel because there's a bunch of stuff in there like the next Fox Patrol thing. I think I have. I think there was one in the one I have, and then the newest one also has something. I think, but yeah, I really need to do a video on Shrapnel because Shrapnel is fun. I just need to know what to do. Either just doing a broad stroke little thing, or like a hey, this is Shrapnel and this is why it's freaking awesome. But yeah, I need to do more videos on fiction now that I have a little bit more time because I have the day job. But yeah, which the day job is weird. I tell you what, going from being like a weird furry artist to, oh yeah, I'm a cash register again with people who are the definition of like standard humanoids is weird. But yeah, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you read it, just put your thoughts down below. What you thought. If you have any favorite like little simple novellas that you'd like to recommend, like that'd be a thing. Like don't even have to be about BattleTech. It can just be fun novellas that you think would be cool to check out or whatnot. Uh, you can put down your BattleTech ones. You can put down your Warhams or just like original novellas that people wrote that like you're like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool story. I should share that. Cause yeah, cause sharing all the fictions, that's the good one right there. That's that good, delicious fiction going into your brain waves, accentuating your giant, glowing, pulsating brainoids. And that soon your brainoids will pass your skull and let you be able to use the fiction beam, a psychic weapon against all those who say, but reading is boring. And then you beam that good fiction into their brain, and then they're like, oh, I should read a book. Yeah. Y'all have a good one. I'm gonna get to reading that last Kellhound story and also getting around to recording that next video soon for the Kellhound Ascendant Part 2 and then 3 and then I need to read The Black Marauder because Halloween and some other stuff I have planned if I have the time. But yeah, hope you all have a great one and I shall see you in the next one.